Happy Sunday morning. That is going to be the very first time I've ever said that here, streaming from any platform, I think, whether it be the Poindexter Lounge or the Sci-Fi Center's YouTube page. Welcome to our part in the weekend's events, the Full Circle event for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Full Circle. We're doing our part in our little neck of the woods. Right now, I'm in my alternate office. I was originally going to film this from the Sci-Fi Center, but I had Rocky Horror Picture Show last night, and I did not get out of there from cleanup until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's just so here I am doing our part. This is a very important cause, and I know most of us, 99.9% of us, could not make it to Pasadena and be a part of the on-the-ground events that are happening there. But this is like any sports team. Whenever a sports team wins a title or whenever an organization does anything important, there are always going to be people that you don't see or that are not on the front lines that are making things happen. I'll use the Army as a comparison. For every infantryman that kicks down the door across the line, there's 15 or people logistically that are supporting it, making it so that guy can even be on the battlefield. So everything that everybody's done this weekend, whether you got your pictures taken with Zack Snyder or you were on a stream somewhere 2 o'clock in the morning in another country, you were doing your part for the cause itself. And the cause is putting out awareness and raising funds for suicide prevention. Many of the people that are watching this right now, many of the people who have been a part of this community have in some degree or separation, been a part of a tragedy that involves someone taking their own life. And it's not just a cause that, it's convenient to jump onto because you have a famous director and a famous movie pointing on. This is something that, being a combat veteran, we contributed and dealt with long before any of these movies were ever released and long after, these movies, are archived somewhere and are not front of mind. It's a cause that I think is going to be really, really important. So, like I said, we got some guests that are in the back room. I've sent out some links and everything else. We have some prizes to announce. The Nerd Queen sent me a couple people on our that have donated and that have won some signed posters. So we'll be making those announcements. And we'll just basically be talking about the camaraderie that's developed since 2017, since we found out that, we had a movie, how you doing, Anthony, that had been tampered with. Because I think that's the irony, is if this movie had not been meddled with, I don't know if any of us or would have connected the way we have connected in the last 5 years. I don't know if I ever tune in to Film Junkie's show. I don't know if I ever tune in to Chris Wong Swenson's show. I don't ever know if I meet online or ever connect with Wonder Meg, Nerd Queens, all these people that were gathered around because we were all looking for information of what the hell did we just watch, what the hell happened, and what was really supposed to happen. And in that journey, we've kind of come together, and now you have a unit of people who can support just about any cause if necessary. Today, it's American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, but it could be anything. It could be mental health care. It could be, homeless. I mean, you name it. Once you have a collection of people that have been brought together, you can pretty much aim those people in the right direction. Another thing why this is important for me to get involved at any level is because we're all part of a fandom that, in my opinion, has shots taken at it by idiots, by clowns who can't differentiate between people, who just wanted to see an ending to something that they watched begin, and extremists and people who, like I said, oftentimes conduct themselves in a manner that is not fitting of anyone, fan or otherwise. And we disproportionately take the heat for all of that. So I think anytime that we get out and we're able to do something, anything positive, no matter what it is, I think it's important that every one of us that has a platform, no matter what size that platform is, to be able to get out and promote. So, all right, I am going to go ahead and bring in. Let me get my links because I got a lot of links. We got to put out a lot of stuff for the cause that we have to put out. The first link is not pinned. If you're watching on Poindexter Lounge, It's not pinned. It was in the beginning of the chat because I don't have access to all those controls. If you're watching from the Sci-Fi Center's YouTube channel, the link, the support link for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is pinned in the chat. It's also in the description of everything. So all the links that you guys need are in the links, and I'm going to go up and down those links. So we have Ink to the People. We have the Full Circle shirt. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the screen here real quick because I might be ordering. I think I should have already ordered one of these shirts, but trust me, guys. Saturday was a Saturday was a maelstrom. It was a tornado of just stuff popping up out of everywhere. So let's see here. Share screen. So this is the T-shirt. The link in the description is there. You know, Full Circle special 3-day celebration of the Snyderverse trilogy to support the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. As you can see, their original goal was 10,000, and they have raised 27,715. 2,437 shirts sold. The shirt looks kick-ass, man. I think I'm going to get one of these. I don't often wear, my standard gear is this red shirt with my logo on the side and the lightning bolt and the on the front. It's been the shirt that I have had since Shazam, the original Shazam, and it's been my work shirt. I adopted work shirt since then. So that is the shirt that you use. That's how you can support. The Advantage is one of these shirts. They're kind of cool. One of the other links in there that I want you guys to make sure you click on and go to is let's see. Oh, the Vero link for the actual stream today at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. We will be our stream will be one of the last ones. I think the last one that leads right into the 4-hour epic that is Zack Snyder's Justice League that begins at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So the Vero link to that is right in our description as well. And then the hashtags and everything else. So the main thing is, like I said, raising as much money as possible. I don't know what the exact dollar amount is yet that they've raised, but I know just with the ticket sales of this thing alone, they have achieved some really, really things. So let me go ahead and bring in the truck driver who has spared us his truck driver today. And then listen, guys, look at this. Everybody make fun of Brad Curran right now. Because Brad Curran, he's using the whole I don't have any power, tornado thing and all that. Yeah, and I'm like, that's pretty lame. But nah, hey, Brad is from Screen Rant. What, dude? I almost forgot the organization you wrote for. I got to knock that off. But Brad is Brad Curran is from Screen Rant. We've had him on before. We've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about what what could become of the remnants that are left. Elseworlds, a whole bunch of things. We could probably do a whole bunch of streams on that one. But today, the main focus is about Zack Snyder's Justice League, Man of Steel, BVS. They viewed these films over the weekend. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna get with the Nerd Cranes because you know what? I got a giant parking lot out the Sci-Fi Center. I think we could do something like the world's greatest drive-in or something like that. Put a 40-foot screen on over the weekend and just show not only these movies, BVS, Man of Steel, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, Watchmen. Let's throw in Watchmen.
Yeah, sounds pretty rad.
Yeah, I think we can do that, and then we donate all the money. I mean, and we were going to do something like this here in Vegas anyway because a lot of us actually want to meet each other. And it's just, I mean, we got people all over the place. We got people in Michigan. We got people in California. We got people in Alabama. We got people in Florida. And we've all been trying to get together. And, at some point, like in the fall when it's not hellaciously hot out here. So I think that's something I might put together for September. I mean, if we're going to get together and come to Vegas, and with Full Circle, it came together so quickly and it was so limited that obviously a lot of people couldn't go. If we were able to do something, go ahead.
Yeah, those tickets vanished in like 4 minutes. I mean, it was bolt of lightning.
And even if, like I said, and in my situation, even if I would have gotten a ticket that day, it would have been a gut punch because with everything I had going on this weekend, I would not have been able to. I would not have been able to go. I would have been an irresponsible business owner if I took off to California to have some fun when I had so many things that were coming together here. Like I said, we got Pre-Comic Book Day I'm working on. We had Rocky Horror last night, which is a whole full-on physical event that I had to take care of. We have Chomania happening here in a couple of weeks, which is a major event. So there's a lot of stuff that, even though they're not happening all at once, they are all logistically potential nightmares when I'm not here on the ground. So yeah, it would have been a disaster for me to go. So it's best everything happened the way it did. But even then, there's a lot of people, like I said, who could have gone. That you only had 214 seats in the theater that they had the two places in, BBS and Man of Steel, and then you only had 600. And you have Zack Snyder's. Zack Snyder's reach is global. I mean, that just
massive,
those are always going to sell out. So I think that is, if we were to put some out here, like I said, I'm not going to sell out our parking lot. Our parking lot has like 1,000 parking spaces in it. So, and then we have other venues. We have all kinds of. And I'm going to post some pictures of. We've done drive-ins out here, and you'll see it's kind of cool. We broadcast we have the ability to broadcast the sound right into your vehicle. A lot of people, when it's cool or when it's fall, we hang out. They bring in their little barbecue things, and they can just hang out on the. Sit outside their cars. You don't even have to have a car to show up. You can just show up.
I think
Go ahead.
I think I've seen that. Googling the Sci-Fi Center, I've kind of seen events like that you put on out in the parking lot like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, we could have a whole little like a festival, man, like Woodstock. We can come. So yeah. There you go. So thank you. Please share out the link for AFSP, whether you can donate or not. Yeah, even if you're broke. Even if you're on the ramen budget, maybe somebody around you can. You never know. You might have a high roller buddy that's like, and may be touched by the events of suicide. So by putting that out there, you're doing your part.
Well, and to go off of what you're saying right there, William, and with what you were saying in the intro about AFSP and all the work, the fandom has done with that, to kind of go off of that, what you were saying about so many people, they know somebody who's been in some way touched by the loss of a loved one, through suicide, or someone who's contemplated it. And I put this out on Twitter recently because I did, within the last 3-4 weeks or so, I did learn that a very good friend of mine actually had a period where he was contemplating a suicide, and fortunately he was able to get the help that he needed, and we're still talking. He's doing a lot better, but that's I'm very, very glad that that he did that and was able to come out of that darkness, and he's doing better. And so for excuse me, for everybody watching at home, everything that the fandom has done as far as the FSP donations, that's just incalculable good, and it's something that we're still continuing to do through the Full Circle event and through what William is talking about organizing. That's something that I think is should never, that will always be a staple of the Snyder fandom. And let's just keep that going. Every opportunity we have an event like this, let's tie that in some way to AFSP. Send money their way. And as Zach himself has said, there are people alive who might not be, if because of the work that we've done, with AFSP, and that you just can't put a dollar value to that at all.
Yeah, and just the community alone. I do streams like really, 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 really late at night. Because my schedule takes me to about 10:30 to 11 o'clock most nights. So I have streams, they call Midnight Express, semi-overnighters, and then our main show that I was not able to do yesterday simply because of the whole live event thing that I had going on. These are the times of nights where people who are contemplating things and are not feeling too good about themselves, where they have these thoughts that take them places where they just probably shouldn't be. And a lot of times I'll have a stream and I'll get a message from somebody, who says, "Hey, are you streaming tonight?" Because they could really use that extra distraction, that extra voice. And, sometimes I won't have that many people on overnight, but I'll know that I'll have that one or two people out there that really needs to hear it. And, that's cool. That my little rat hole stream could be the difference between, somebody just going deeper into those that bad day that they just had, and then maybe just sitting here and talking about geek stuff, talking about imaginary superheroes and imaginary this and imaginary that, and sometimes it only takes a couple of minutes. It only takes a couple of minutes of hearing something beyond what is going on in your life. You could be having the crappiest time, But if you're just sitting alone and you're just sitting with your own thoughts and you're just bouncing all those negative thoughts off of yourself, that can be devastating. So with this community in these streams and all, not just mine, I'm like under the totem pole. But when you have things, when you have Chris Wong Swinson used to do an overnight show on Saturdays, we'd watch his. When you have things like the Vodka stream, when you have the Four Nerds and ACS with stuff that they do, when you have just any of them that you can sit down and it's like watching a movie or a sporting event or something like that, but you can't always jump out of your where you're at and head out. Sometimes you're just there, and if you're able to flip on one of these shows, no matter who it is, that is a break. That is a break in the monotony. So it's a good thing. This community is a good thing, whether it be donations, which is like you said, it's incalculable, or whether it be just being there, just providing a space. Every one of these content creators that's been part of our community, no matter how long they've been on it, no matter how many followers that they have, the primary thing that they're doing, in my opinion, the most important thing they are doing is providing a space for somebody to come and have input, collaborate, and meet other people and get that stuff off their mind. All right, I had to mute Brad because of the storm, he had a power outage. He's doing this from his phone, so he's got some back feed. So sorry about that, but yeah, because of the phone.
No problem. No problem, man.
So yeah, usually, like I said, I'm always the one on not the icon. So you know what? Screw you guys. How about that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm the one who should be sparing you looking at this sleeve stackish vices of mine, but everybody else, trust me, all these people look better than me, and they're always on icons. But that's cool. But except for they, yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
whatever, man, whatever.
We're in a weird spot now because we have the Flash coming out, and we have a lot of things that people, in my opinion, just based on the trailer alone, have already connected with some of the aspects that are in the Flash. So when it comes to the whole Snyderverse thing, it's going to be interesting because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't have any inside information on what they're going to do, but one thing I do hope is that if the Flash does do the money I think the Flash can do, and it's getting a China release, that is at least considered. That everything that's happened from 2013 is not automatically dismissed in lieu of some fresh new start. That I think people just fell in love with the word reboot because it makes them seem smarter than they are. They can enter conversations about pop culture and act like they know what they're talking about because they can bring up the reboot card. But I don't think that I think reboot does two things. It let me read this real quick. Hi, Aaron. The Sci-Fi Center should be the second to last stream of AFSP fundraiser stream event. The Nerd Queens capped it off after Zack Snyder's Justice League Q&A with having Allison Crow on their stream. Yeah, right after the Zack Snyder's Justice League, Nerd Queens are going to pop up and put a cap on everything, and they have Allison Crow. If you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, she provides part of the soundtrack to that, and I think he's interviewed her before. But yeah, getting back to yeah, it is a great weekend for us. Getting back to what this could all mean is, like I said, my only wish, I don't need you to go full blown on and make any kind of great announcement or anything else. But what I would like to see is the fact that the last 9 years did mean just nothing, and that at some point in time, you take a look at your product and have enough respect for your own product that you use these things. So, how you doing, Hunter?
Well, it's interesting you should say that too. But go ahead, Thade.
No, go ahead. Good.
Yeah, it's interesting you should say that because if you had seen kind of the Q&A last night after BVS, Zach, kind of decided to, go back to sort of stirring the pot a little bit with he got some questions about like the death of Robin and some other aspects of kind of the whole story, and he did his sort of tap dance around. It's like, oh, I'm not going to spoil anything because I mean, this might maybe we'll have a chance in the future. That's not verbatim, but kind of the essence of it, because that's what he does. I mean, he's really he just throws a little hand grenade out there and just lets it blow up all over the internet. And to what you're saying, go ahead.
He does more to promote his movies than DC was doing. And I mean, people want to knock The Rock. People always want to vilify The Rock. The Rock was the one who had to do the promotion and the stirring the pot because DC management weren't doing it. So, yeah, go back to finish your point there.
Of course, and you've made that point to what you're talking about with very about really sort of having a place for, especially more establishing the multiverse and establishing the Elseworlds via the Flash. But really having a place for like the entirety of DC's past on film and television, including the Snyderverse. And that's anybody is maybe a first timer on the Sci-Fi Center. I mean, William is really just kind of beating that drum, I think, about as well as anybody is right now. And I definitely highly recommend following him on these streams. Then with what Zach had said there, it's I mean, I think everybody kind of saw that and going like, oh, what's he gonna do tonight? And I mean, not to you don't want to set the bar too high for like whatever he might say or tease. I don't think that, based on kind of the way he phrased everything, I don't think it means that any kind of deal has been inked or anything, but it the way he spoke about it does sort of indicate that he hasn't lost interest, that he would would want the opportunity to complete the story, given the chance to. And I think that's really collectively, that's where the fandom kind of stands with this, is that I think whatever your
that's all I've wanted, man. That's all I've wanted. Listen, here's the thing. I am on board with what James Gunn is, with the stuff he's put out. I don't like the order of what all this happened in. I wish Abdi and DeLuca would have been able to properly resolve things, set the stage for what he's doing, because now this is all on him, and I think that he's going to have to deal with a lot of unfair weight, and I think his movies are going to have to deal with an uphill stream that I don't think is fair, but it is what it is. They made their decision. All I want is two things, in no particular order. Leave the door open. If you're going to move on and do it, if we're going to watch these new movies, and like I said, most of us Snyder fans have watched everything that's come out anyway. These movies, if these movies have failed, it hasn't been because of the Snyder fans. It's been because the general public just doesn't connect with what they're doing. Now, I don't need you to make an announcement. I don't need you to do anything anytime soon. But all I'm asking is leave the door open for that possibility. And if you get the opportunity for the sanctity of your own and continuity of your own product, resolve it. I never needed 10, 20, 40 movies. You gave me a beginning. I just want to end. I'm a customer. I've been standing here for 9 years with money in hand to give to you. All I want is an ending. And you know what? I'll be open to everything. I'm open now. I watched Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I'm not the reason why that movie bombed. I like the movie. I'm not the reason why the original Shazam only didn't break 400 million. I'm not the reason why Black Adam didn't make money. Us Snyder people, and we get blamed because they're like, oh, if you guys would have supported it, that's bullshit. Because we did. The general public makes up the overwhelming backbone of all of these movies. They make up over 90-some-odd%. We like to think of ourselves as a fandom as this big, movers and shakers, but really we're not. Even when it comes to the internet, even though your general audience is on the internet, they're not us. They're not on a screen like now. They're not on Twitter all the time. They use the internet for basic stuff and basic entertainment. They don't dive in beneath the waves like we do. We're always going to be there. For better or for worse, whether we're whining or whether we're cheering, you have our attention. These movies are failing because you don't have the attention of the general audience, and because you have no continuity, because the general audience doesn't have to be hardcore nerds. The general audience knows when something has been left undone and left unfinished. All right? And they're not going to hem and haw. They're not going to do a hashtag. They're not going to do a stream. They're going to take a look at it, and if it's too complicated, they're going to move on to other things. They've made themselves so easy to dismiss, and the worst thing you want, they absolutely screaming and hollering. I'd rather have that because I know you're out there. But the thing that hurts DC films the most is not us, not Snyder fans, not any extremists. It's the average fan that just leaves the room without saying anything. We're kicking and screaming. You can gauge where we're at. You know we're in the room. But what you don't know is that average fan, when he just says, this is just too messy, I'm leaving. He doesn't make a sound. You don't get to poll him. You don't get to ask him why he left. He just doesn't come back. So I think if they are going to ever do anything when it comes to continuity or resolution, first of all, I think some of the anti-Snyder knuckleheads, and plus, trust me, the anti-Snyder vibe that is out there are literally one step above a Cro-Magnon, in my opinion. But that's another stream. But when it comes to the people who spend their time antagonizing us, your excuse is, well, you'd be rewarding a toxic fandom. First of all, screw you. Second of all, when you're doing business, you never do anything for a particular type of fandom. You do things for that swath of fans that make up the majority of the revenue you're going to generate. If you were ever to continue anything, one more second of Zack Snyder, anything, it is not for us. It is not for the extremists. It is for the general audience, and you're doing it because you think these things are marketable and you can make money. They have enough data now to know that was the case to begin with. Like I said, the reason why you had 5 years without Superman and all this stuff is because that crew had screwed things up so much that it was radioactive to them. They couldn't touch it. They didn't know what to do with it. So, yeah, there you go. Let me bring you back in off your thing. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't want to make this a full-on conspiracy one but it is part of it. I mean, we are talking the pivotal movies that make up what this is. It's why we're here. So I had to touch on it at least a little bit.
No, I get it, man. And to what you're saying about kind of what you're saying about the struggles that some of the more recent DC movies have gone through. I mean, I think what you're saying there about the fallout that came from the initial 2017 Justice League. I mean, that really it did. And I even actually had an article go up about this recently on Screen Rant, where it really did. That was really what has hampered these movies is the after effects of those. I mean, when you had Superman benched, you had a Batman going. It's a great one with Batman with Matt Reeves, but it's not in universe. So we've got a situation we don't know have an in universe Batman. The Justice League is not. I mean, we only ever see them again, post Snyder Cut, in a quick little cameo in Peacemaker. So, you don't have that. What you're talking about, I think, is very spot on. Where the plan they had, such as it was, you don't have the support system of your A-listers like Superman and Batman and the collective, might of the Justice League really bolstering things like Shazam and like Black Adam and like the Suicide Squad, and that was really where they shot themselves in the foot as far as the management, at the time. So, yeah, and it's unfortunate because I mean, a lot of these movies, I really liked Black Adam a lot. I thought it was fantastic. And,
I had fun. It wasn't perfect, but I had fun.
Yeah, it was metahumans punch each other in the face for 2 hours. I mean, with The Rock doing it, and Shazam: Fury of the Gods I liked quite a lot. So it's not any of the failings commercially that the recent DC movies have gone through. It's really been through no fault of their own. It's been through the the mismanagement, as you've said, and the I'm trying to look for the best word here, as you said, radioactive.
Yeah, it's just and the thing about it that's the bothers the thing is, like you said, obviously there's going to be the comparisons to Marvel, and when you look at it from a scientific and analytic point of view, that is where the fanboy logic comes in, and the fanboy logic can do a lot of damage, and especially if you find a bonehead executive that listens to fanboy logic. All right, and I always describe Marvel Comics and DC as two cards on two different roads. You got your DC car, which is your Ferrari Testarossa. That is your job to take care of that car. That is your job to maintain that car, to keep it on the road, to do its tune-ups, to keep all that stuff going. And then you got the Marvel car that's riding on the same Autobahn as you are. It's riding on the same road. It's going at its own speed, appropriate to what it's doing. Its maintenance is appropriate to its car. It's what it does for its passengers are appropriate to the trip and the journey that they are on. All right. Marvel did what was appropriate for Marvel. Marvel made moves that were appropriate for them. They developed their characters in a way that was conducive to who they were and how the genesis of their characters and how they came about. DC had to do the same thing, and they for a while they started, But once again, you have these two cars on the road, and you have the Honda over there in Marvel, and you got your Ferrari, and you're looking, instead of keeping your eye on your road, you have your neck over in their lap of their car, and you crash this $500,000 Italian, custom made car, not because of anything that was wrong with your car, because you couldn't pay attention to what you were doing. Because Marvel did this. Marvel's success as far as narrative storytelling should have had nothing to do with the way DC was developed. And what happened is you had idiot executives who couldn't understand that because they weren't in that zeitgeist. So when they tried to figure it out, they looked for the loudest clowns in the room, what ended up being the detractors of Zack Snyder's work at the time. And that's how you got what we got. And it's unfortunate. So let me unmute you again here, though. But yeah, oh, you're cleared up in the back. Cool. All right. Oh no, you're right. But go ahead.
And kind of building off your point there, like one, as far as the DC and Marvel comparison goes, as far as them planning out their cinematic universes. One point I try to make also is that with Marvel and the success they've had, which is of course undeniable, it's not a matter of their plan was fundamentally better than Zack Snyder's plan or the general DC plan. It's the fact that they committed to theirs. It's like and if you look back on Phase 1, I mean, it's not as rosy, the road to the Avengers, as people tend to remember. I mean, the Incredible Hulk didn't do that well. Thor, Captain America, First Avenger were kind of middling hits, and then of course Avengers, blew the lid off. So
yeah, and that was the point I tried to make about Phase 4, considering it's another saga.
Yeah.
People had a problem with Phase 4, and this is a building phase. That was a building phase, which is something people didn't understand. But anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
I don't think Avengers made. Did they? What was their first $1 billion movie? Was Avengers 2012 their first $1 billion?
Yeah, that was
yeah.
it.
So that was 4 years into it. So they got 4 years of movies that really didn't make that much money, because Iron Man was a $400 million. They were good money making movies. But here's the thing, and this is and I hope for James Gunn, whether I agree with 100% everything that he's doing or no matter who it is, my hope is that the conversation has been had with the executives as far as, this is what we're doing, this is how long it's going to take. Don't have sticker shock when this doesn't do this much money. We're building something here. Here's our long-term plan. If Zaslav and Gunn have had that conversation with the stockholders, the shareholders, the chairman of the board, and all that, they're going to be okay. But if they haven't, then that is going to be a problem, simply because when Marvel first was building their plans, they didn't dictate their next move on the box office necessarily. They dictated the majority of their moves on where their story was going, and they had a plan, and they sold their plan, and they kept consistent to their plan. They didn't blink. When you blink, and if you're in a position of leadership and you flinch, everybody from you down sees that, and that's what happened with DC. Kevin Feige's not sitting in a room with a pile of money and saying, how can we make another $1 billion? That's not what drives them. The Marvel Studios is a crumb. The money, you can combine every dollar that Marvel movies have made since they made the very first one. Let's even go back to the X-Men days, the Fox days. You can combine that, and it doesn't even come close to what Disney makes in a year off of their parks. So that's not even a priority for them like that. But even within Kevin Feige's own sphere, they're not sitting around, with those little visor hats on, counting their money and saying, oh, we came up short $1 billion. They focused on their story first, and they went from there. With DC, it was the exact opposite. They paid attention because they just didn't know what they were doing. They paid attention to people that they should have ignored, pundits that they should have ignored, and I'm going to say it, a lot of fans that they should have ignored. Listen, we are qualified to do certain things. We are not writers. We don't write screenplays. We're not directors. It's not our money. By the time Fanboy becomes a financial part of this entire story, hundreds of millions of dollars have already been put on the line. Careers have already put on the line. Legacies have already put on the line. By the time Fanboy reaches in and siphons through his lint to get that little $10 or $14 out, it's all over with at that point. So they didn't listen to the right people, and then you had the wrong people in power. And I understand why people would just want to go ahead and move on and want a fresh start. But this is not make believe. You cannot unlive what Zack Snyder put out there. It is there. And I'm gonna say this, and this is a phrase I coined, as silly as it may sound. Wrecked runways lead to crash planes. You can go nowhere. You can't go to James Gunn thing. You can't go to anybody's thing. Whatever is next is going to either be doomed unfairly doomed, no matter what the quality is, or it's going to have a lot of disproportionate weight that it does not deserve to have on it. Right now, I give James Gunn 40% chance of success. And those are high odds, actually. Things could change, and I hope they do. But you cannot get to somewhere else by completely ignoring what brought you up there, especially if there's a lot of quality in there that has just been left. You're just not going to come out of some cocoon pod and think, oh, time just starts here. For better or for worse, the history you have is what you have. It's good because there's quality there, but the credibility because of mistakes you've made. You're asking fans to give you new money when they just watched what you did with their old money. Times are tight. A lot of us are on ramen budgets. So unless they correct these things, and not just for the fan base or the fandom, for the brand new Joe that's coming in to take a look and give your product a chance. Do you want them to see something cohesive, nice, and beautiful, or you want them to see some broken up dishes on the ground? What do you think is going to be more attractive to them? So that's just me. What do you think, Brad?
Well, and to kind of
you guys.
Also, I just had something to say here, William.
Go first, Dave, and then Brad.
Yeah, sure.
That's been my problem this whole time. Is there's no. If you're going to do multiverse, or if you're going to do just in DC terms, Elseworlds, then tell us from the start that you're going to do that. And that goes for the Matt Reeves Batman movies, that goes for the Snyder stuff, that goes for the regular DCU stuff that Gunn's about to start doing. If you're going to do all of that, give us an indication of where we're going. Because when the general public looks at these movies and they see two different Batman on the screen, they see this and that, there's no cohesiveness to this. This is another thing that Marvel did right. There's a cohesiveness there. It's through the storyline. You know what I'm saying? And if they were going to do all of this different, like, I don't know, different characters and multiple Batman and stuff, it's confusing to the general public.
And see, a lot of that is, like I said before, if what you're doing is confusing, that means you failed as a storyteller. And that is absolutely right. But they can do these things, but I think you could have 10 Batman. And as long as you're doing the work to explain to your customer what you mean, then you can do anything. And then people are always telling me, well, this is going to be confusing to the fans. And that's right. That only happens under two circumstances. Your storyteller is an idiot or your fans are dummies. I don't think that's the case. But if you're selling something, you have to do the work like they said. You have to do the work to do it. If I'm going to have this many Superman, I need to let you know. And like I said, we need to be seeing this. All right? We should have seen this the head of the Batman. When that DC logo dissolves, this is what should have came up. And every time we're going to do something that is not part of the mainline DC universe, that needs to pop up. And it needs to be branded. Just like I said, like Game of Thrones. We're big parts of Game of Thrones. And you see how the houses, we root for different houses. Why? Because the people who made that stuff geared us to that. All right, go ahead, Dan. I didn't mean to break up your point there.
Oh, no. I made my point. My point is
okay.
There's too much confusion out there. And that's where you're losing. And that's where they lost me, to be honest. There were too many movies and stuff that were out of joint with each other, and I'm a fan, and that's the crazy part. They lost me 10 years ago, basically. I mean, well, at least by 2017,
A quick question for you, Dave. Do you think that we should be using this logo? I mean, like to as an instrument to settle
Obviously.
all these things?
Obviously,
I mean,
yes. This logo here, this Elseworlds logo, and then like we talked about it a year ago or more when we first started, William, where we talked about do Earth 2, do Earth 3. Give it a designation. And when you see this Elseworlds thing right here, you could have another logo that goes with it that tells you which Earth you're looking at.
exactly.
That way you can go to that if that's what you're interested in. You can go to Matt Reeves's world, and that's going to be like Earth 3 or whatever, and then you can go to Snyder's world, which would be Earth 10. Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
If
you
they put
explained
this,
it. Yeah.
if you set this right here with it, and then you put whatever world you're going for, then that way, if people don't want to watch the Snyder stuff, they can go to the Reeves stuff. If they don't want to watch that stuff, they can go to the regular DC stuff. If they want to watch Gunn stuff, they can go to his stuff. It would be more. The business model's right here, people.
Yeah.
It's been there. DC Comics gave you the multiverse 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay?
I mean, it's
And
crazy, man.
The fact that Warner, since 78, hasn't used all of that is exceptionally retarded.
Hey, we can't use that word no more. Challenge. All right, hey, I'm about to bring in somebody. Listen, this guy's been on my hit list for a long time. I'm bringing him on here because the amount of disrespect that this man has shown me everywhere he's gone has been unfathomable. All right. I mean, he's forced me to go out and do my run every day, to get his cut physically. I want to wear tight shirts, and all that stuff. But this particular person shows up on streams and he makes all of us geeks look bad. He's basically the Tom Cruise and Jerry Ryan of us geeks. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that you can partake in the stuff that we take in and look like this guy looks. And he's stealing our women. If we were at a convention and there's a hot cosplayer and you think you have a shot, our next guest is going to ruin all that for you. So you have reason to hate Anthony ACS, man.
What's good, man? What's good?
How
Appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate you coming on, man. I contemplated doing the stream shirtless just because I thought you were going to try to show me up and wear a tank top or something like that.
No.
Or you were going to try to do it while you were lifting weights, and just be like, But listen, back in the day, if we saw somebody like Anthony hanging out at the con or hanging out at the comic book store, we thought we were being infiltrated or something. You know what? Yeah. All 10 of us would see the hot chick and be like, wow, which one of us has the least chance at her? and then here comes now you go up to there. It's like, being a geek is cool. And so this is a byproduct of being a geek, being cool, guys. You guys are strayed away from the religion. We're not supposed to have a bunch of muscles. All right. We're not supposed to get confused for The Rock.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be able to cosplay without muscle padding.
Yeah,
that's not us.
William, speak for yourself. I was a football player and popular in school, and I was still an undercover nerd, man. So
okay,
speak for yourself.
I thought you were gonna say now that you're doing this, and I'm gonna be like, okay, dude.
Oh no! Now I'm nearly 50. Now I'm nearly 50 and don't care.
So is he.
Yeah.
So is he. How old are you, Anthony?
45.
That's not care.
Hey man, I started late. Up until I was about 28 years old, I was a beanpole, and then I joined the military, and it just took off from there.
Well, I joined the military, and guess it didn't have. I mean, I'm probably much healthier than I would have been if I didn't get to the disciplines that I gathered through there. Not just the physical disciplines, dude. Once you go in the military and you go in deployment. And listen, I'm not making fun of the other 99% of the people who did not do it, but man, your tolerance for everybody else is really fucking low.
Yeah.
When you go back to your job, and the people are like, I don't know if I can make it through the day. Not serious stuff, but because we're shorthanded or stupid stuff like that, or customers cussing at them like that. And then I'm like, dude, I just went overseas where I had a guy with like a star on his shoulder that felt entitled to treat me like crap, and I had to take it. I had to take it. You can go in the break room. I'm stuck in this desert. I can't leave these people. I'm in a tent with people that are snoring. I don't like. I want to kill everyone, but I can't because I need them to get home. It's like,
well, I can't say that I served like you two gentlemen, but my dad was U.S. Army Special Forces, and I went through his boot camp getting raised. So I was pretty much trained as a soldier. I was raised on a ranch too, so like.
I'm third generation, man. I'm good. My grandfather was in Berlin, was in World War II. My dad served from 67 to 91, and then I joined 2 years after he retired. And there was like nothing going on. We were in peacetime and everything else, and then all of a sudden, I'm on stop loss. I was out of the army. I'm on stop loss, and then I get a call from some colonel saying, "Hey, congratulations, you're going to so-and-so." And like, he's saying it like it's just like I won a prize to go to the Bahamas or something like that. Oh, and I love the way he said it. I love the way they said it. They didn't say Iraq. They didn't say Afghanistan. They didn't say the Middle East. You're going with us to Southwest Asia. And I'm like, dude, I know what you're doing. I know you're not fooling me saying, you know what? Wow, this sounds better than Iraq. I'm getting on the plane. Let me get my stuff together.
Yeah.
I had the full beer going. I was done. I was like, my time ETS was done. I wasn't going to re-enlist because at that point I was going to throw all into the center and everything else. Yeah. And it was just a different time. And I'm like, you know what? I did my time and everything else. I made myself available for the wars. My time's up. Let's go. And I get a call, and I'm like, dude, my paperwork's already in. They're like, oh, no, well, we've already taken care of that. We're good. We got you. Had the flight arranged. Had already attached me to the 483rd Transportation Battalion. It told me I needed to be in Fort Lewis within 48 hours. And I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
48 hours. I got a business to run. I got stuff to shut down. I just can't go fly it. And they had already been mobilized. So the unit that kidnapped me, and I will always say they kidnapped me.
Yeah.
They were short. They cross-leveled me. For those of you guys who don't know, the cross-leveling is the Army's term for kidnapping you to fill the needs of a unit that they can't send out until they get because you're IMTO. Yeah, you can't send a deployable unit until they get the numbers in each particular thing. So they kidnapped me. I told them, no, I'm going to need 7 days. I need to shut down. So in 7 days, I left Vegas. It was 100 and it was August. I left Vegas. It was 102 degrees, right? I get to Seattle, and I love the state of Washington. That's where I want to semi-retire at some point. It's like 67 and it's raining. And I'm like, this is a shock to my system. Yeah. And then I get there, and then they're already there. They're already there 3 weeks. So I'm having to get used to a bunch of new people. I'm the shock of me being kidnapped. And then like, okay, now I got to get this whole, we're going to war. We're not just going on AT. We're going to where people are not coming back in certain cases. And then you're putting me with a transportation unit. And that whole time that I'm watching, thinking like, wow, this sucks for those guys, man. I wish you guys luck. Ooh. And it's all convoys getting blown up, and it's all IEDs, and I'm like, and then I'm like, oh well, this is gonna be fun, and I'm like, well, hey, I'm not 11 Bravo, so maybe who knows, and then I'm seeing the people who are getting blown up, and I'm like, wait a minute, I just put this Wild Coyote thing together. My Acme ideology just popped into my head that you can't get anything to the infantryman without convoys.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
William, my dad.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, William, my dad actually he served in the Army for 22 years. He served in the Gulf War and 2 tours in Afghanistan, actually as a civilian contractor. So I'm sure some of these stories you've relayed, I'm sure he'd love to hear them.
We hated those contractors, man, because those cats didn't have to play by our rules.
No,
we had to go back to their tent. They went back to a cool kick-ass trailer, and they were making 6 figures. Granted, this is the money we made while we were overseas, tax-free, and I re-enlisted because once you're over there, it's like, damn. Re-enlisted, tax-free money. I met people that I know to this day. And like I said, if you ever are straddling the decision of joining the military, even if you do not make it a career, I could make it a career because I can't even give up a weekend without my world falling apart. Like I said, I couldn't even go to Pasadena. I couldn't even be in the running for tickets even if I got them because I'm nailed down here. So just imagine, I was a reservist. I was a weekend warrior. that got made fun of. The active duty guys were always made fun of us. Oh, weekend warrior. Until we all got over there. And guess what? I got a 580-day weekend with you. I'm stuck here with you in the same heat with you. I don't feel like a reservist right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're in the same tent. We're eating at the same defect. All right. We're sweating out there. And like I said, us darkies, we generally don't burn. We got a little bit of advantage. A few advantages that we have over the rest of the world is the fact that we don't get crusty. We don't just incinerate. Holy cow. When it got hot over there, I burned.
Yeah.
Not only did I burn, like I always tell you guys a story. We had those what is those the Polarises, right? That we rode around the sand dunes with. And so we were out in the shade with all that stuff on. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I held on, and while I'm holding on to the bar, and my skin is burning, drying up and flying off my knuckles. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then we got all the stuff. We got the body armor because, listen, I understand that the body armor helps, but I'm like sitting there like, you know what? Maybe the IED it's quicker because I'm boiling. I got pictures, man. I got pictures of me smiling.
Well, like my dad used to talk about the jungle, because he was in Vietnam, and he was like, you're humping 85 pounds of gear in the heat and humidity, and I can imagine the dry heat in the desert, man.
It's not even dry in some cases. It's not even dry. It's like, especially when you're down, like where they have to. So the convoys are MSR Tampa. So you go through a place. They keep changing the name. It's called Navstar, or I think it was Navstar or Beering, Camp Beering, where we were at, and that's the base you go to. Everybody trains to go up north, but everything is shipped in. So there's an ocean there. So the port of Shuaibah, which was in Kuwait, is where everybody starts. And if you spend any time there, 100-degree heat with humidity, I'm like, oh man, this is suffering, And I'm in Vegas, so I'm like, when I get back to Vegas, first of all, I'm not going to complain about the heat, and I'm like, that's a lie because I complain about it every day. And two, I need to get the hell out of these deserts. I grew up in San Bernardino County. That's a desert. I'm living in a desert. I got deployed to a desert. I need to go someplace where people have to dig their way out to work. Maybe.
William, temperate.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were over there, did you have to do this? This is something my dad shared about the Gulf War is, because he talked about the heat just like you do. And one of the things he mentioned is, if you go up late at night, get out of the tent to go, use one of the porta potties. There's a whole process to where you got to get geared up and get your weapon. A lot of the guys said, "Oh yeah, the hell with that. We're just gonna piss in a bottle." So they had a lot of piss bottles rolling around over the tent there.
So I'm never going to admit to that or admit that happened. But it happened.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because all right. So we were lucky. We didn't have to gear up to go because we had QRF. Yeah, we had QR up there. We had guards there within our place. But listen, you sleep, you get all snuggled in, and whether it's hot and when in winter it was freezing. But at night, do you want to just break out of that uncomfortable thing? Get up, get your PT gear because that's what we were wearing.
Yeah,
PT gear. Get your shoes on because you don't know what the hell you're going to step into, and go maybe 100, 200 feet to pee. Peeing is a natural thing. You get up. You don't even have to be fully awake or conscious to pee. Yeah. I may have peed 3 or 4 times last night. I don't know because you're 70% unconscious and you just do it. But when you're out there in that madness, it is a battle plan. You can't sleepwalk. There are guys that were sleepwalking, ending up in our tent. Because trust me, when you're out there and you have a bunch of tents lined up, it all looks the same. I had people coming in my tent, and I'm dead tired, filtering around, grabbing around, and they're like, oh, not because they're in my tent, but their bed or their cot is where their cot would be in their tent. So they sort of got it right, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And it was like, and that happened a lot.
It did. Yeah.
That happened a lot. Sometimes if you were sleepwalking, sometimes it was just that guys would go to the porta potties and they didn't realize, okay, maybe you need to understand where you're coming from. So when you come back, especially those first couple of weeks we were all there, after a couple of weeks, we're like, we know where it is. We started tricking our tents out, and everything. Like I had a satellite dish because we set up our own satellite network because the internet cafes sucked and they charged you. And listen, let's I'm going to be 100% honest. And it was all ranks and all from PVC, PV1, PFC. I'm sorry, PFC, to all the way up till an 07 was on our internet service. And it was because there are certain things we're not gonna be specific because this is a family stream.
Yeah,
that you can do on a network that we set up that wasn't a part of the Army network or part of their monitor network that you could do on our network.
Okay,
gotcha.
Read between the lines there.
When you wanted to talk to your wife at the internet cafe, it was, hi, honey. Yeah, everything's going all right. Yeah, I'm doing great, honey. When you're sitting on an internet cafe or you're sitting on a monitor network, there's just limitations to things that you can do.
Yeah.
When we wired you up to our private network, there are other things you can do, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. So we had a huge satellite dish, and everybody came to us. Everybody came to us. We had people, like I said, people say your network is illegal because it's not on a SIPRNet and WhipperNet and all that BS. The same guy that said that was paying for our service, but he had to put on that public base. We're going to launch an investigation into your service. It's not going anywhere, Sergeant Powell. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So we were living on the hog. Dude, deployment wasn't all miserable, man. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad that they did stop loss me. I'm glad that I did do it was a year. We did a year solid in ground. They've changed the deployments. I got there in October. I left in October, and then it was pre-mob, which was a miserable thing because you hadn't done anything yet. You hadn't even got the chocolate tip uniforms yet. You're still wearing whatever raggedy, underfunded reserve unit that gate that you were wearing with the brown boots and the green. And then we didn't have the DCUs. Once they had the DCUs, you knew you were going. You knew this was not getting canceled. You were going, and then you got on. Once the deployment started, though, it actually went quick. I was kind of sad to see it end because, like I said, it was years ago. I still talk to those people to this day. Some of them, we're never going to not be connected.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing. But
you spend that much time. You spend that much time with people. You know what I mean? Because my first deployment was 15 months. I went on 3, 15 months, and then 12 months in Iraq, and then my last one was 9 months in Afghanistan. But yeah, you spend that much time with people. Chips. With people, you're gonna. Yeah, that's the invention of social media as far as like Facebook and stuff is absolutely key, and it's sort of keeping in touch with a lot of these people that you've met in passing, whether it be on deployments or some of them that I was just because there's a lot of people I met when I was stationed in El Paso that they didn't deploy with us when we deployed. I still keep in touch with them too, but it'd probably be kind of impossible without sort of some kind of social media.
Yeah, and everybody I've met, even the ones I don't meet, I got a friend of mine, John Valadez. We met in 1995. We met at I was part of a tank battalion here in Vegas, and we met. And what is it? We're going on 2003. He's had a kid then. I've known his kid his entire life. I've known his mom. Everybody. We rode into these things, and I run into people, and I'm like. And I realized we're a part of that 1%. And even if I don't care whether you did just one tour, you did 4 years and got out. You will always forever be part of a 1% of the entire population that ever lived. And it's kind of cool. But when it comes to this whole Snyder thing, I happened upon you through other streams. I forgot how I found out about you. I think it was either Nick T. I think you were either on Vodka Stream or you on Enosh's channel, something like that. How did you come upon this community?
Well, first of all, the only reason I started Twitter, and I think it was 2013 or 4. You couldn't whenever Snyder would post any teasers for BBS, like during pre-production and whenever they started filming, he did it on Twitter first. So I joined Twitter just for that because I would just miss stuff, and then I started just meeting people gradually because at that time it was still. I don't know, like the Snyder community was still kind of slow at that time because BBS hadn't come out yet. And then once that happened, And then obviously it exploded when the theatrical cut of Justice League came out. But I just started meeting people like that.
Did it?
Yeah, and I would just see people tweet out just certain things. They tweet out a picture of that, like the picture of Batman that Zach posted, the first one where he's standing beside the Batmobile and it's in black and white and it's just a cool shot. That's the kind of, I see people, post that kind of stuff, and I just follow them. And then when I started doing YouTube stuff in 2017, none of it was live streaming. I didn't even know anything about live streaming. All my videos were pre-recorded. I'd have to do a trailer reaction or whatever I did, get done, edit it, and put all that work into it, and then upload it to YouTube. But right around the time when Zack Snyder's Justice League was announced, that's when I met all the people that I stream with these days. I met them all in that first couple of months after that announcement. So that's when I also started live streaming, and then people would invite me on and talk about stuff like that. And it's just grown from there. So I got some people like I've been to Michigan several times to go to AFSP viewings for like Watchmen, BBS, and met a lot of these people in person, and it's always a good time.
Now, this particular topic that we're on today, and obviously we're talking and we're joking and everything else, but we are here. And the link is pinned to my page, and Stella has put it in the chat several few times. We're here to support the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. Now, given our background, you know that suicide is unfortunately become a byproduct of the line of work that we were once in. How important, even before all of this, how important is it to be able to contribute, given, a lot of it, we got a lot of people who don't even bring up the suicide subject when it comes to the military. I don't think that Congress, and it's not a political show, but I don't think our government does as good a job, no matter what party is involved, to take care of guys after you've sent them. They did their bit. Some of these guys are coming back, and they're coming back with all their arms, all their legs, all their, fingers and everything else, but there's something that's been messed up, and I don't think enough attention is put on it. I think that they come back, your war's over, you're safe, and they don't realize that there's things that are happening. You have survivor's guilt, and it's not necessarily somebody who was right up on an IED or somebody saw somebody die. It's the life ships. Some of the guys I talked to who did deployments and then extended and stayed over there as long as they could. Is when they went over there, they were surrounded by people that they had a net. They were on active duty. You got a bad day, but you collectively were having the same bad day as everybody else was, and you guys could deal with it. When you came back in the civilian world, a lot of guys didn't have that kind of support network because we all dispersed in many cases. Yeah. And then once you leave active duty, you no longer have that net. So for me, when this cause came up.
It reminds me of what my dad, said coming back from Vietnam. A lot of the guys, I knew some of my the guys that served under my dad in Vietnam, and they came back wrong. They came back different. And, we had this one guy, he was, he wasn't part of society when he came home. He went out, lived in the woods in a shack. Mm-hmm. And we would have to take him food because he wouldn't think about himself. He'd be out there, no electricity, no running water, and we would have to go out and take care of him. And it was just the simple fact that my dad was very strong-willed that he came back without many problems. I mean, he had a few, but, it just, I remember meeting those guys that were with my dad in Vietnam, and I remember meeting a lot of them and just seeing how, sometimes even if you come home whole, you don't come home, Your mind is still over there.
Yeah, and then one thing about, like I said, the military, for all of its, we joke and complain, we wouldn't have it any other way, but it's that, like I said, even Juror Weekend, even for you reservists out there, your National Guardsmen out there, every weekend, those are your guys, and a lot of times you met and hung with those guys throughout, and that is your. You ever needed anything, and I don't know what I was in the Guard, when I was in reserve, if somebody needed help moving, anything else like that, we were there. We were the first ones that they called. And, it's just, it doesn't seem like it's that way anymore. And now you have the non-military, thing going on because it's become an epidemic to the point where every one of us knows somebody. Yeah. Every one of us knows somebody that is going through it, that has come near it, and it's just devastating. Now, before we go on, we had contests that were going on throughout all the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And we had T-shirts, posters, and stuff that were being given out, and the Nerd Queens have given me the names of 2 winners that they wanted me to put out. Now, these winners, they both win a signed poster by Zack Snyder. And one of the organizers will be in touch with you sometimes next week because they have your information, and I can announce them at any point during the stream. Now, one of them is a person named Brent. His tag on YouTube, on Twitter is at ESQ Brent. I think he must be in real estate, and so he is dude. And you know what? Listen. This is another guy. I might just confiscate your prize, Brent, because here's Brent. Here's his Twitter page, and this is so that he knows that he's the right guy. Let's share the screen because StreamYard makes it so hard. All right, so yeah, here's Brent. Yay, a guy that makes me look like a Fred Flintstone cartoon.
Oh, Brent, yeah.
You know what? This isn't fair. And he really looks like this. And I really look like this. Now, America, all you guys watching here right now, I work out. I think I eat good. Hey, there's some cauliflower over there somewhere next to the ramen. I do my diligence. I exist on the same planet as this guy.
Yeah, Brent's he would, Brent, he'll be in the chat sometimes and he'll literally be like, "Hey, make sure you eat your bread." I was like, "Man, I'm not that." He's really like he does, competitions. I don't do that, man. But yeah, so congratulations, some other lucky chap. And then we okay, go ahead.
Something here for the fundraiser that Stella put up. Is for those with deeper pockets and a love of figurines, 10% of your purchase will go to AFSP from Weta. I'm assuming it's a Weta figurine.
Yeah, it might be those the Trinity that they had on the at the end of the Q&A last night, where they had the 3 statues, the Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I think that's what they're talking about. But yes, if you purchase any of those statues like that, I think that they give 10% to AFSP.
All right, now this next we had 2 winners. Mm-hmm. We had 2 winners, and this isn't a joke. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this person's name right. I cannot believe that this person won, given the current circumstances that person is in, and that is the fact that he's hosting the damn stream that I'm on.
What? Come on, man. Is that for real?
Yeah, that's for real. No. Listen, you know what? I have second thoughts. You know what, Nana Cole? I want to rescind my offer to have a platform on here. Because not only do I have 2 muscle-bound guys who make the rest of us look like we're aliens. ACS and this Brent dude, we are not from the same planet. We are not chewing from the same grass. We're not shopping from the same stores. All right.
That's for real?
That's for real. That's for real.
Thanks, I guess. What the he said DQ this man. Oh yeah, there it is, yeah.
There's the figurines they're talking about right there.
And I won't win that either. Well, I don't have a chance at that. But yeah, so congratulations to Brent and ACS. I have to figure that the Nerd Queen said, "Oh wow, these cut guys are there." If my picture had been next to let's choose a winner, I'm pretty sure they chose that random. I'm just joking. But who's getting picked? Who's getting picked? Let's see. Wow, this is Man Candy or the Slee Stack. Let's pick one of the other 98% that looked like the Slee Stack from Land of the Lost. Let's pick one of the Chaka-looking people. Everything this weekend is geared towards hot people, and every picture, every selfie. Find me some ugly people in any of these damn selfies that's been taken. You know what? I want out of this community, man. I feel like an outsider. I feel unwanted. Listen. We need to restore this geek community. Forget about restore the Snyderverse.
Appreciate it. What's good, chat?
Forget about hashtag anything. Hashtag let's take our geekdom back. We got to force out all these chiseled guys and all these, keep the hot chicks. We need them. We need to get rid of our competition because if we can let this happen, they're going to win everything. They're taking all the women. They will replace us as the prototypical nerd. All right, we won't even be able to get into our own nerd spots anymore. Like that velvet rope that's outside of the club where you have to look and dress a certain type to get in, to even stand outside the door. We will no longer be able to get into our own nerd community because guys like Brent and there's more out there of them now because it's cool to be a geek now. Before, they wouldn't even want to be with us. Those were the guys. Anthony and Brent were the guys who beat us up in school. All right, the guys who used to beat us up in school, the jocks that are in the weight room that would throw a weight towards us and say, "Hey, William, those guys are now the geeks now."
William,
what?
Again, football player, power lifter, popular in school, still a nerd. I didn't give the geeky guys a problem.
Okay, listen.
Let ACS make it, man.
Is this a bad time to mention Is this a bad time to mention I've been doing martial arts for 20 years?
If you look like him, yeah. Right? And now you know what else is next? The old geek that doesn't age. Look at the Keanu Reeves type guy that hangs out now. Because not only is he approaching 60s, he's getting the 30-year-old chicks that we still don't have a chance at. So they've grown into their senior citizenship. And so listen, we used to have the whole field to ourselves to get rejected. Now we get rejected, and our chances are decreased. They're showing up, dressed up as Superman and all, and now they're bodybuilding so that they look good in their costumes. Ooh.
Hey, ACS, you know who?
You guys,
who William sounds like right now? He sounds like. Oh my God. He sounds like the guys off of Big Bang Theory. Get rid of the good-looking guys.
But no, another thing. The Big Bang Theory, screw that show on every level. We don't live like that. You're not getting those chicks. Sheldon is not getting, no. Even May and Blue Eyes, you're not getting her. None of those guys, no. None of those guys are scoring with those chicks. And you know what that did? That sent a false sense of hope to Sleestack Nation that, hey, what if I wear a shirt with a lightning bolt on it? I can be the geek that I was meant to be, and I'm going to score with a chick that looks like that. Ain't happening. You've been misled.
Okay, guys, let me just say this. The views and opinions of William
reflect everyone.
Do not reflect all of us.
Somebody said bazinga.
There are more people out there. There are more of us nerds that look like the alien species now of my own planet. They look like Brent there. Congratulations, Brent. Or ACS.
William.
All right?
William.
It's
Bazanga. Okay, Bazanga.
Whatever. You know what? This is all turning upside down. I only had Anthony on because I was going to make myself look better, and this is all backfired. So listen.
Well, you better not bring Henry Cavill on anytime soon.
I want to listen. From now on, I want a new rule. If you're going to win anything cool, you got to look like me. All right. Whatever. But yeah, we had the two winners. So congratulations, everybody. The Nerd Queens will reach out to you. They have obviously they have ACS and they have Brent. So congratulations on the cool stuff that you won.
Exactly. So, William, it's about confidence, dude.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, I have confidence.
Well, then you should have no. You're in Vegas, homie. I don't see what you're complaining about. You surrounded by these women.
Yeah, but we got an issue there, though. Repeat, I am in Vegas, so we don't really need to. What happens here is not necessary. And like I said, if you score in Vegas, if you come out and score in Vegas, there's a likelihood that when you go back to Earth, you're not taking Vegas with you, and you're just regular old Bob. Bob can come out to Vegas and have the time of his life. He can live the commercial. He can get the strippers. He can get all. I'm bringing up strippers. Sorry, nerds, queens. But when he leaves Vegas, he gets off of his space shuttle and he's back into his normal world. Vegas is not real for the people who don't live here. I'm not meeting the people you see on the commercials. I'm not meeting the hot chicks you see on the New Year's Eve celebration. So, but the tourist can get anything he wants because he's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
William,
So,
you know who else is breaking the rule of kind of nerd body cred here is the man of the hour, Zack Snyder.
Yeah, that's
every
guy. He's 57 years old, and he's still ripped up. You know,
yeah, and every other picture on Vero is just him bench pressing 900 pounds.
Yeah, I can't wear a V-neck cut T-shirt with a T-shirt. I'm not. I'm going to look like I'm supposed to look. Some of these people can pull it off. The Rock can wear a fanny pack because he's The Rock. I can't do that. You know. Some women are fanning at the side of Henry Cavill building in Peter, and you know what? You just wait for it because ACS is going to do that too. He won't even know what he's doing. He won't even know what he's doing. ACS is going to have some computer parts, and he's just going to like move them around, and he'll be like, "Oh." You know, and the women, the MILF magnets will be like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Yeah," but like I said, for those of you just tuning in, us geekdom does not look like this. This is an outlier, all right? Oh, look at that! Look at Nana Queen. Look at her, man. Yeah, see. It's one thing for the actors, Henry building committee. It's one thing for the actors and actresses to look like this. You know, because they're like literally, you know, they're on a different level. Because us geeks or not. But like I said, now you have these old things called, I guess, gyms and gym memberships, stuff like that, vitamins and proteins. I guess I'll try some. But I'm gonna do my own contest before and after and see how close I can get to looking like Brent. Brent is my new goal, I guess.
Don't kill yourself, old man.
You know, and I guess age doesn't matter. ACS ain't no spring chicken. his bones.
Yeah, but you're the only. William, you're the only one sitting here acting like you're the oldest of ancients.
No, but I'm like, listen, I got it. Maybe this is a lot. The only way this could look better, you know, that I can compare is if I did this. That's my only shot here.
So everybody tuning in right now. It's like this and daylight savings time are the best William rants you'll ever hear.
Yeah, I have what? How many months do we have? We're gonna put a countdown on the screen because I guess
you have to remind him of daylight savings time. I was here for that rant,
and I loved it. I was listening.
Listen. This is a problem with the modern society is when we have something bad to us, it's like getting kicked in the nuts so many times you don't feel it. That's what daylight savings is. Daylight savings has been getting kicked in the nuts by a goat every day of your life and it being like, you know what, I don't even feel it anymore. But I feel it. I live in a desert. I don't need more daylight. I need less.
Yeah.
Joke, but yeah.
Fantastic analogy there.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, we're here for the American. We got about 11 minutes left, and then we'll roll right into. I gotta go to get some stuff taken care of, but we're gonna roll right. Mine will be the last thing you see before the Zack Snyder's Justice League before it goes on, and then after that. No, it's not. No, it's not. You know what? Like I said, read the behind the scenes of that movie, the fights it caused, the careers that movie ended. I'm not alone in thinking that is a wretched movie. The Thor movies will always be the worst modern comic book movies for me because I generally hate all of them. But Howard the Duck is on a different level of low.
Is there any alternate cut of that we need a hashtag for?
Yeah, there you go. I'm not. Listen, I'll find out what all these guys are doing, and that's fine. That's fine. You know what? After I'm off the screen and I go look at the mirror for about 10 minutes, and I'll talk myself back up and be like, "Damn it, I can go out in public looking just like I do now." But hey, so everybody who's donated, the link is there. It doesn't have to be today. If you're not able to donate today, the cause is year-round, 365, all night, all day. There's never going to not be a need for the cause that is being at the center of what's going on this weekend. Like I said, you may not have been there. You may not have been there. We got about 10 minutes. You may not have been there in Pasadena. You may not ever be there to be there for all the events that get like the big highlights, but you are playing your part. This is an important cause. Go grab a T-shirt. Follow all the links and everything you need, including the link to the Vero link to watch the live. I don't know if they're doing it live, but the Q&A and everything is after that.
Mhm.
But everything you need is after that. And like I said, I haven't been able to watch all of the Q&As because I've been immensely busy. The same reasons why I had no chance to be there, even if I had a ticket, is the same reason I have not been able to watch them all. But I've been watching some of the other YouTuber streams, and it's been fun. It's been fun, and it's a win for us all around. It's a win for this community.
William, to go off of that, on kind of a personal note here, just kind of a thanks for the invite today, because your stream that I was on in January when I was getting over COVID, and I was also recently on the round 2 podcast with Baron Kirsch talking about ZSJL, and that's on his Patreon, which everybody, all of his Patreon proceeds will be going to AFSP this month. So if you want to throw some money over there, that's another way to get to AFSP. But one, I think I mentioned this to him. One thing about the release of the Snyder Cut period that looking back on for myself is one thing that I kind of looking back, I regret a little bit, is that I never really got the chance to, do a lot of the kind of like the YouTube discussions and the live streams and things like that. That was, and it wasn't like anything I was avoiding or being shut out of or anything. It just for whatever reason, that's just kind of how the chips fell for me. So, with the stage that we're at now, and especially with this event that we're, helping promote, I'm very grateful to be part of that today. So, thanks for the invite.
Hold on for a second. Everything is wrong with Good Genetics. Why? Because I can't get them. I can't. Can I buy that? Can I buy that? Can I replicate that? Is that fair? That's why, Marvel Man. But no, thank you,
William. If you want to do good, just donate to stem cell research. Maybe we can work you out there some help.
Lord knows what I'll look like by the time that catches on. All right, so in closing, thank you to the Nerd Queen for allowing me to be a part of this, be a part of the the campaign, to be able to help. Thank you to Enoch, who is not here right now, but if it wasn't for him, I would not have accelerated the platforms that we were on. I got my own channel now. We're on his channel right now, Poindexter Lounge. So please like and subscribe if you already haven't. If you're new to here, if you come out from all the other streams and you found us via the Nerd Queens, like my YouTube channel. Also like the channel you're on now, the Poindexter Lounge. Like and subscribe. And ACS, where can they find you?
On Twitter at 2279 ACS with an underscore. Everywhere else is just at 2279 ACS. And just search the ACS universe on YouTube and you'll find my channel there.
All right, Brad, where can they find you?
Yeah. Decided to take my hat off here. Decided to go ahead and come on camera, show my pretty face, and can't wash my hair with all the rain that was coming onto it. But you can find me on Twitter at Brad Curran. It's same thing on Vero. I'm sort of on Facebook, but I mean, you want to reach out there. And also, you can find my work on screenrant.com, and also, which I mentioned earlier about martial arts world, as I write also for kungfukingdom.com. So you can find me both those sites, and Twitter is also a good place to hang.
All right, and if you're down on your luck and desperate and actually want to look out and find Thade, where can they find you, Thade?
Oh, Lord. Okay, you can find me at The Undiscovered Country on YouTube. It's a new channel that I'm cultivating for movie reviews, video games, and everything else like that. You can find me at Sci-Fi Center Live or Poindexter Lounge, Friday night Star Trek, or the overnight show on Saturday whenever we're running.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Other than that, I'm around. I'm on Twitter under Thade Bays, the name on the under my picture there. I think that's it.
All right, guys, we are at 12:55, so I'm going to give you guys chances to get set up on Vero, and sync up your Zack Snyder's Justice League for those of you who will be doing the watch along. But like I said, this is not just a this weekend thing. When it comes to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, this is a from here on out thing. So thank you to my guests, for everybody who was showing on. Thank you once again. Thank you to Nana. Thank you to Cole, and thank you to everybody in our tight little community that is, there for everybody else in their community.
Yeah.
And, it might not be the outwardly overt thing that you see that gets a lot of publication, but trust me, everybody that is producing content within this community means a lot to the people watching it. So, all right, guys, and you can find me at you can just Google the Sci-Fi Center. You'll find us everywhere, and you can find my YouTube channel. Thank you for allowing us to youtube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. We have estimated that I will be 78 years old by the time I reach 1,000 followers. So hey, maybe today I'll creep even closer. But if you guys can help that, that's great. And that's it. Enjoy Zack Snyder's Justice League. Enjoy the post game discussion with the Nerd Queens, because I plan to be watching that. And we'll see you guys the next time we see you.